Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. Welcome. My name's Rodney Eunice. I'm the athletic director at Triton. And on behalf of Triton School Corporation, the Triton Athletic Hall of Fame Selection Committee, and the inductees themselves, we welcome each of you tonight to the Triton Athletic Hall of Fame 2024 Induction Banquet. I came to Triton in 2002, and I've heard the stories of just the amazing run that the basketball team had, but I'm excited tonight to actually get to hear it from the players themselves. At this time, I would like to introduce our MC for the evening. He's a Triton alum whom I had the privilege of coaching. I couldn't think of a better person to be the MC for tonight for this special evening. Mr. Dan Stichter, please come up.
We all know I'm just up here because you don't like to speak in front of people, but that's okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome this evening. It was an honor to be asked by Coach Eunice and the selection committee to come up here and be your MC this evening. So, as Rodney said, my name is Dan Stichter. As a 2005 Triton High School graduate, it's my privilege to stand before you tonight and recognize another group of Triton's finest. Let me be the first this evening to congratulate the 12th class of the Triton Athletic Hall of Fame, the Triton High School Girls Basketball Championship teams of 2000 and 2001. This unique group of talented players, managers, and coaches made the two-year run a magical moment in Triton athletics history. The 2000 state team made the trip to Hinkle Fieldhouse, winning against Rising Sun in an overtime with a three-point basket by Amber Feldman to claim Triton's first ever team state title in any sport. The 2001 girls state team made the trip back down to Indy, where they played at Conseco Fieldhouse and beat White River Valley 55-38 to claim back-to-back state championships. Let's give those wins another round of applause. But before we move on tonight, we have a couple of individuals we'd like to recognize who are in attendance with us today. First, members of the Triton School Board and Administration, please stand and remain standing so we can applaud when all the names have been called. Board President Terry Barnhart, Vice President Kevin Boyer, Secretary Steve Stichter, Member Wes Redinger, Member Ken Miller, Superintendent Jeremy Riffle, and High School Athletic Director Rodney Eunice. Tonight, we would also like to recognize the Triton Athletic Hall of Fame Selection Committee. Without the time and effort of these individuals, this event tonight would not be possible. The selection committee, like the school board, is made up of members from Bourbon, Etna Green, and Tippecanoe. Committee members in attendance, please stand and remain standing so we may applaud once your names have been called. This year's selection committee includes Justina Faulkner, Brian Feldman, Jane Ganshorn, Joe White, and Dan Stichter. And we would also like to recognize many of the past Hall of Fame recipients who are here with us tonight. I know you didn't think you would have to stand up again one more time, but you're going to tonight. So please, as your name is called, stand and remain standing so we can applaud once the names have been called. From the class of 2012, athlete Justina Faulkner. From the class of 2013, Coach Mark Heater. From the class of 2014, contributor Joe White and athlete Ryan Meister. From the class of 2016, Ashley Senef Faulkner. From the class of 2017, contributor Mike Byron. From the class of 2018, contributor Orion Limler. From the class of 2019, athlete Taryn Meister and coach Larry Wattenbarger. And from the class of 2022, athlete Melissa Nifong Branham and coach Gail Perry. Let's give these past recipients a round of applause. And finally, one last thank you this evening. We would like to recognize former Triton High School Athletic Director Mason McIntyre, who is in attendance with us here tonight. Mason founded the Triton Athletic Hall of Fame, and without his efforts, we would not be celebrating here this evening. Mason, will you please stand so we can recognize you? All right, before we move on to our meal, just a few housekeeping items. Women's and men's restrooms are located near the start of the buffet line. I know many of you have been here for probably a dozen or so weddings, so you know that already. So feel free to come and go as you need this evening. Also, we are excited to share that tonight the event is being filmed and broadcast on YouTube by the Triton Trojan Sports Network. Thank you, TTSN, for all that you do for our school and our community. This evening, we had a number of wonderful snacks and dessert that have been prepared for us by Marcia Lindsay, and our meal this evening has been prepared by Taryn Meister and Back 40 Catering. After prayer, we'll move to the buffet line. Please continue down both sides of the buffet, starting with the inductee tables first, followed by the school board, the administration, and the selection committee. All other tables may then follow, starting from front to back. Before we dismiss to dinner, I would like to ask Triton School Corporation Superintendent Jeremy Riffle to come and bless our meal.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today and we just thank you for the blessings that you have given our school corporation, these teams, and I pray this evening as we honor excellence that you will continue to find favor in our school corporation, and we thank you for doing that in the past, and we expect that in the future. We love you. We thank you. Bless this food to go to our bodies. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So inductees, you may head over to the buffet line. Everyone, enjoy your meal this evening. We'll continue after the meal. We are going to begin the rest of the evening in about 5 minutes. So in about 5 minutes, we'll begin. Grab yourself some dessert, another thing to drink, and be back at your table in 5. All right, everyone. It's time to get started this evening with our induction ceremony. I hope you all enjoyed your meal and the time of celebration and community you had tonight. Please join me again in thanking Marcio Lindsay and Taryn Meister of Back 40 Catering for the food this evening. We'd also like to thank the Back 40 for hosting us this evening. Thank you. It's a wonderful venue. All right. Without further ado, I believe Orion has something to share with us this evening.
Knife on, gets the ball to Kreider. Somebody's going to have to shoot if they want one. It will be Feldman for three. She got it! Amber Feldman hit a three. The game is over and Triton wins the state championship. She got it! Holy smokes! Amber Feldman hit a three with everybody on her. Triton wins at 57-54 in overtime. Holy smokes! Knife on, gets
55-38 now. 6 seconds left to go. Triton's going to win the state championship in single A. White River Valley takes a run to the bucket. The shot is no good, and that's it. The end of the ball game will read like this: Triton 55, White River Valley 38. Triton has won back-to-back state championships in single A, and today they did it in a highly convincing manner. Wow. 50.
As we prepare this evening to hear from team members and induct the teams into the Hall of Fame, I can't help but think back personally to that first state championship year. I was a 7th grader who had just begun my journey through Triton Junior Senior High School after 7 grueling years at Triton Elementary. Many of the players on the girls' basketball team were either older siblings of friends from school or individuals that I recognized from church or other local community gatherings. I'm sure tonight you'll hear many stories of practices, games, pep rallies, and the championships themselves. But what I remember most vividly from the first state title run came actually on the Saturday of the semi-state. We attended many Triton events as a family, and I remember sitting in the upper deck of the bleachers on the east side of the gymnasium. After the Trojans prevailed, 59-53, I had to look that up, against Clinton Prairie in the morning, my dad turned to me and he said, "You know, if we win tonight, we go to the state championship next week." Of all the moments that stuck with me, although I didn't realize it at the time, I believe that comment and the state championship that followed unlocked for me a world of possibilities. It planted a seed that things that I thought were out of reach for someone like me, an awkward 7th grader from Etna Green, might just be possible. So whether you were from Bourbon, Tippecanoe, or Etna Green, whether your family had a lot or a little, whether you were a starter, a substitute, or an organizer of the water bottles, you could accomplish great things. No matter where you start, with a lot of effort and a little bit of magic, you had the opportunity to accomplish more than you can imagine, especially as part of a team. This evening, we will hear first from Coach Mark Heater, and then from one team member from each of the state championship graduating classes. We hope these memories are enjoyed by all of you, especially this year's inductees and your families. Our first speaker will be Coach Mark Heater. In the years following the state tournament run, I actually had the privilege of serving as a manager for the girls' basketball team coached by Mark Heater and Gail Perry. Despite Mr. Heater often admonishing me to stop talking in history class, and Miss Perry often cutting me down to size in freshman PE, I gained a tremendous amount of respect for both of them based on the balance of love and accountability that they showed for the team, and it helped me thereafter to better understand the success of these state championship teams and the individuals that played. So Mr. Heater, if you'd come up, I'm going to read the short bio here, and then we'll give you an opportunity to say a few words. Coach Mark Heater is a 1982 graduate of Concord High School. Mark began his teaching career at Triton's High School during the 1989-1990 school year. He coached JV volleyball for 3 seasons, girls JV basketball for 1 season, and varsity basketball for 14 seasons. He led the girls' team to 5 sectional championships, 2 regional championships, 2 semi-state championships, and the 2 state titles. Mark was a 6-time NSE Coach of the Year, 1A Girls Basketball Coach of the Year in 2000, and the Claude Wolf Coach of the Year in 2001. He also earned 3A Assistant Coach of the Year for Northwood Volleyball in 2022. Mark was inducted into the Triton Athletic Hall of Fame as a coach in 2013. Mark is currently in his 3rd year of teaching at the Northwood Achievement Academy. Mark and his wife Jenny live in Napanee, Indiana. They have 2 daughters, Allie, married to David, and Casey, married to Vincent, and grandson, Kenan. I'm sorry, Kenan. Mark, it's a pleasure to have you speak this evening.
Good evening. I'm glad to go first, and we'll let the ones you really want to hear talk after me, and that's the girls, because they're really the ones that we're here celebrating, I think, anyway. Thanks to the committee for picking the girls' teams. They really, I think, deserve it. They worked hard. We always believed, Perry and I, that, success can breed more success, and certainly that has been the case for Triton Athletics in the last 24 years, and it continues to go strong, and we're happy to be a part of, getting that, or keeping that going, I should say, because Triton's always been a very successful program for forever, going back to the 65 men's team. So thanks to the committee. The girls really appreciate it. I'm sure this has been fun, getting to see the girls. Thanks to the girls, obviously, for playing so well, or we wouldn't be here. And then, thanks to their parents, to the girls' parents, who put up with Perry and I. Sometimes maybe our methods were a little unorthodox, but hopefully you trusted your daughters with us, and I think everything turned out all right. Sure seems like it did. So, it's hard to believe it's been almost 25 years, a quarter of a century, since we won that first game that they've been running up here, and we got to see the end of, and then the second game. My daughters were 10 and 8 at the time, especially of the first one. And now they're both married, and one has a child, and we have another one on the way. So it's just weird it doesn't seem that long ago, that we won. And thank goodness, there's YouTube to remind me every once in a while when I want to go back and watch the game. Perry just mentioned last night at the boys' game, she finally went back, and she really hasn't watched the games, and went back and watched the games, and it's kind of funny to hear her reflect, and she was getting mad at it during the game, and we were turning the ball over too much, which we did, but I'm sure as she was rewatching that, it felt good, and it brought back a lot of memories that she really enjoyed. You go back to that year in 2000, or 99-2000, and we didn't have a great start to the year. We'd had a rough year the year before. We'd started out 1-13, made a few changes, ended up having a good second half of the season, went 9-5, won sectional, almost won the regional. But that season kind of set the tone for the next season. But then we came out and started 7-6. I think we were at Bremen and lost a game at Bremen right before Christmas break, and that one was upsetting, of course. But we came back out after Christmas break, got on a roll, finished the season 13-1, won the state championship, and had a great run. And then it followed right into the very next season. The beauty of that first year was that the only game we had on the road was the state championship game at Hinkle. Sectionals we hosted, regionals we hosted. Back then it was a midweek regional, so we played on a Saturday night. Then we played, I think it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. Do you guys remember that? Was it a Tuesday or a Wednesday? Was it Wednesday? I don't remember. But we had, so sectional Saturday, regionals Wednesday, semi-state on the following Saturday. So it was pretty quick in a row, which I liked. I thought the girls played better when we played more often, which we did play pretty well. But then, we only had to go on the road one time, and that was down to Hinkle Fieldhouse, that was just a really neat venue to play basketball in. I'm glad we had that opportunity. I know It was kind of weird. The court was taped off at the end because the college basketball court's a little bit longer than a high school basketball court, but that was really fun to play down there. Quite frankly, we should have won the game in regulation. We turned it over too many times. We were up 11. Orion had that running up there, and I saw we were up 38-27, and we blew it. We were still up 8 with 4 minutes to go. Blew it. But you know what? It made it a little bit more fun at the end when we got down 6 and had to hit 3 threes in a row in the last minute 4 or whatever it was. We were also kind of reminiscing last night. Can remember vividly, Missy had just hit the first 3, banked it in. Probably shouldn't have gone in, but somehow it went in. And we called timeout. We told the girls who we wanted to foul, and I told Amber specifically who she was supposed to foul, and at least that's the way I remember it. Amber, maybe I'm wrong. And if you watch the end, they pass it in, they pass it to the girl that we're supposed to foul. Amber doesn't foul her. And I got a little upset on the sideline. I stomped my feet. Well, fortunately, that girl passed it back to the girl we were supposed to foul, and then Amber fouled her. So she got the job done. And then, of course, the girl missed both free throws, and Missy hits another 3. Come down. They had the ball with probably 40 seconds to go. Ran a little time off the clock. They got it in the middle. One of their big studs, Betsy, blocked the shot, got the rebound. And then Amber obviously hit that dramatic 3 at the buzzer, which was unbelievable. It's so fun. And when you watch that game, when it's on YouTube, I think the neat thing about that is the angle or the view shows our fans. And when the shot goes in, you could just, in unison, everybody just was standing up. That's pretty exciting. And then to top it all off, Missy wins the Patricia Roy Mental Attitude Award. And I can remember the TV was talking to me, and they announced it, and I couldn't even, this cheer went up. It was really loud, and I had to lean in to hear the guy talking, and I didn't even realize that Missy had won the award, which that was disappointing for me not to be able to experience it right away, but so proud of that team. And then Missy's the only one that graduated and came back in 2001, won our first 12, lost 3 in a row. I think we lost to Plymouth, who also went to the state championship game that year. We lost to Manchester. Can't believe we lost that game. 57-55. Unbelievable. Jenny gets so mad at me because I can remember stuff like that, and then I go to the grocery store and I have to call and ask, man, what was I supposed to get? Sorry, I don't remember, Jenny. Then I rattle off statistics like that are meaningless. But then we lost to Rochester by 12, and we won the next 12. And the thing that I remember most about that state tournament run, again, we got to play sectionals at home and semi-state at home, but we won every game in that tournament by double digits. I think our closest game was 14. I believe that might have been the semi-state championship. So, I mean, when the girls were ready to play, they were dominant, and they played great, and we really dominated the tournament that year. Ended up winning by 17 in the state championship game after a tremendous start to that game, and it was just a great 2-year run for those girls. It was so much fun. We were talking, Jenny and I were actually just talking when Dan was talking about the Clinton Prairie game that first year. I don't know if anybody remembers this. Clinton Prairie was the defending state champion in coming back in 2000, and they didn't bring a very big crowd to that morning game because their fans apparently expected to win and come back for the night game. And so that was a very gratifying, obviously we wanted to win, but it was cool because we beat the defending state champion. Connie Garrett was a legendary coach, coached both volleyball and basketball, the state championships at Clinton Prairie. And, it was like, okay, we're putting ourselves on the map. They did not expect us to win, and we won, not easily. It was 59-53. Dan, I did not have to look that up. I could have told you the score. But, so it's little things like that are fun to think back about. And reminisce with the girls. And now, Jenny knows this, and maybe some of you guys know this. I love statistics. Obviously, I can remember that stuff that probably doesn't need to be remembered, but we are still, that 2000 game, I looked this up, I went through the IHSAA website, and they've got a bunch of statistics on there. There are 2 games in the entire history of the IHSAA girls tournament that have been finished with a basket at the buzzer. And ours is the only one ever in overtime. So there was another one, South Bend, Washington, I believe, got beat back during the Diggins years on a last-second shot, but that was in regulation. Ours is the only game to ever be won at the buzzer in overtime in girls basketball history. So hopefully that keeps going on. There was 4 more games today. The first 2 did not end in overtime, so we're safe there. We'll see what happens tonight. But that's kind of a cool statistic. We still have, in the 2000 game, 61 team rebounds is still the record for an individual game. And that is still the most in any championship game in the history of Indiana high school girls basketball. So that is an impressive stat as well. Betsy had 15 rebounds in that game, and that is now just top 5. Sorry, Betsy, that somebody got like 19 but in a game. But still, that was a pretty cool stat. There was one, I had written it down, then I erased it, but since I brought it up earlier, Rising Sun set the record for 19 steals. That's 19 turnovers right there just on steals. And I know we had to travel more than once or twice or throw it out of bounds once or twice, so. But that's okay. We're in the record books for that. Now this one I can't confirm 100% because they don't have all the old box scores, and I got tired of looking through every single box score of every game that was ever played. But I believe that we're the only team ever in a state championship game to get off to a 16-0 start, like we did in the 2001 state game. And boy, did you talk about taking off a lot of pressure when you come out and you're up 16-0. And I mean, the girls, when you watch that opening part of that game in 2001, that press was devastating to White River Valley. And another, I think, pretty cool statistic, and it's not a statistic, just what happened. Amber scored the last 3 points of the 2000 game and then scored the first 4 points of the 2001 game. And actually, I think 6 out of the first 8. So another little tidbit of information that I thought was pretty cool. And if you also, I know you guys are getting bored with my statistics, we scored the last 9 in 2000 and the first 16 in 2001. So really, we went on a 25-0 run between those first 2 years, which is pretty impressive. The girls were pretty good. Obviously, I could go on and on about all these things, but Jenny warned me, because the last time I did this, I talked way too long. And I apologize for anybody that was here. It was well over 30 minutes, and now I told her to put a timer on me. So, because let's face it, we're here to hear the girls talk about it. They were the ones that were out there on the floor playing. They were the ones that brought these championships home to the community. And I think that's what we need to remember and really celebrate tonight as we hear these next 4 young ladies, they're still young to me, talk a little bit about those 2 state championship games. I know Dan's going to introduce our next speaker, but I'll get off the podium and let Missy go next.
Thank you, Coach Heater. Our next speaker this evening, representing the senior class, is going to be Melissa Nifong Branham. Melissa Nifong Branham is a 2000 graduate of Triton High School. While at Triton, Melissa participated in basketball and volleyball. She earned the Patricia L. Roy Mental Attitude Award in 2000. She was on the area basketball all-star team and selected the all-star most valuable player. I did not know that. She was the basketball season most valuable player and was Female Athlete of the Year for 1999 to 2000. Melissa went on to Manchester College to play basketball and major in accounting. Post-graduation, she accepted a position at Zimmer in their finance organization. Melissa currently heads up the Global Financial Planning and Analysis organization for the local company Zimmer Biomet. Outside of work, she spends many nights and weekends in a gym watching her kids play the sports that she loves. She has been married to Corey Branham for 20 years, and they have 3 children, Madison, age 14, Trenton, age 11, and Caroline, age 8. They live in Warsaw, Indiana. Melissa, welcome you to the podium.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for that. It's great to be here. I was asked to speak about how it was to be the only senior on the team, and then share a few fond memories. So, I think most seniors would probably tell you that, being a senior on the team, you need to be a leader, right? You need to be the leader for the team. You need to, make sure the team stays a team, right? Keep them together. You probably need to, be the example. You need to set the tone, and probably you really need to step up your game a bit, right? In that. Now, I'll tell you, that's not how it felt for me at all. And I was really trying to think through, what did it feel like? We had a really talented team. The girls came, they brought different things to the game. I would say we all knew our role on the team that we played. We, I think more importantly than knowing our role, we accepted our role on the team. There was no ego, no drama. I actually think we enjoyed each other, and we were talking about that a little bit. This team, the 2000 team, there wasn't that drama, that ego. We were friends, not just teammates. When we started out the season, we came into the year, and all of us knew exactly what we needed to do if we were going to go far, right? We came off of a tough loss. I think Peter talked about that, the tough loss from the regional the year before. And we said we needed to run and gun. And I remember going into Coach Heater's room, and we talked about that and said, this is what we got to do. We got to outpace, outrun our competitors if we were going to win. And the girls were down for whatever we needed to do to make that happen. So I think what I'm trying to say is because of the team, because of the girls on the team, I did not feel like the only senior on the team. I think maybe after the state championship team, after the game, when everyone started talking about them repeating, I knew I wasn't going to be back for that. That's probably when I really felt like, oh, I am the senior on the team, and I'm not going to be able to come back. But it was great to be part of it. It was a privilege to play with the girls. So a couple fond memories that I had. They said 1 or 2. I actually am going to break the rule there. I made a list of 4. But I'm going to be quick. I'm going to be quick with them. And hopefully there are a few things. I really just started bullet pointing out a few things that just quickly kind of came to my mind. And they're things that I don't think any of the other speakers will talk about tonight. So 4 things. The first one was, it was Valentine's Day. Around Valentine's Day, and I remember the elementary students making us paper valentines, and it was so sweet when they gave them to us at pep rallies. Number 2, interviews. I remember a lot of interviews, even the really weird ones that we did when they made us all seem like we were related to each other. Do you guys remember that? There's a bunch of us related to each other. It was definitely weird. Thinking back on it, maybe a little cool. I'd say who doesn't want to be related to us, right? I'm looking at the few, so I don't know. But I remember that. Third, I would say it was Betsy, the only other starter in the state championship game that hadn't fouled out. Looking at a couple who did. Yeah, two fouls in a row, Brandy. 2 in a row, almost the exact same fouls. You were not supposed to foul. Amber was supposed to foul. Is that what you said? Yeah, you weren't supposed to. Anyway, Betsy, the only other starter still in the game, and I remember hugging her. It showed it a little bit ago, but I remember grabbing you, jumping up and down, and hugging as soon as Amber's shot went in to win the game. And then again, all of us were jumping and hugging, and we didn't know what else to do, right? And I remember that memory. The fourth one would be the, I guess, the shaving of Mark Eater's mustache. I got to do that with at the last pep rally, or when we came back with manager and best friend Christy. You know, I don't know about you, but that's the only face I think I've ever shaved, and probably ever will. So you know, it's going to go down as a heartfelt memory that I'll keep. I cannot believe you let us get that close to your face with a razor, but okay. You know, and again, trying to keep it short. But while I'm standing up here and I got the mic, I'm going to add another one because it's just great to see all of you guys. And so I'm going to say the other fond memory is a new one. It's tonight. It's right now. You know, I'm so grateful to be here. So grateful to be able to have been part of this journey, part of this team. And 24 years later, we're still making memories. So thank you, and I'll hand it over to whoever's going to speak next.
Up next, representing the junior class, will be Betsy Sawyer. Betsy is a 2001 graduate of Triton High School. While at Triton, she participated in volleyball, basketball, and track. She was basketball most valuable player, had the most rebounds, and was on the South Bend Tribune all-area team. Betsy went on to play college basketball at Glen Oaks Community College and earned an associate's degree in general studies. Betsy currently works for Solar Energy Systems in Napanee, where she has been for 12 years. She is married and has 2 children. They live in Napanee, Indiana. Betsy, come on up. The mic is yours.
So I'm going to break the rules a little bit. There's 8 of us. I know we're not all here, but if all the girls from the class of 2001 could come up and join me, I'd really appreciate it. Because let's be honest, I'm not the eye candy here. So I'm really impressed with Mark and Missy. They didn't write out their speech. I have mine written out word for word, so I'm gonna try to get through this. So I'm representing the class here. If you guys all want to get in the camera, that'd be great. When we talked about this, I asked all the girls what they remembered about the 2 years, and it was overwhelming, the response. It was mostly about the community and our teamwork. So I'm going to start with community and all the members. So I know there's only a few of us standing up here tonight, but these state titles really go out to a much bigger group. I'm going to start with our parents. As parents ourselves, we can confidently say that their hearts were on the court with us. They cheered with us and definitely let the refs know when they would miss a call or two. Thank you for the countless hours and spent running us back and forth to practice, games, and tournaments. Most of us are just realizing now how much time and effort really went into all of this. So just thank you so much again. Thank you for all the team meals. We ate a lot of food, so thank you. Thank you for all the gifts, the locker decorations, and always being our biggest fans. We can never repay you guys for everything you guys done. Next is our fans. On any given night, and any given location, we brought a crowd with us. My mind goes back to the Couts regional game our senior year. This tiny little gym, you would have thought it was the home gym. We absolutely rocked that place. Watching back on some film, you could hear us, you couldn't even hear the refs. It was amazing. Wherever we were, there was always a sea of blue and gold, and you guys were amazing with that. We also had an unmatched student section. We called them our sixth man. It was a group of guys. My junior year, my brother, Tracy's brother, like a bunch of us, they painted their faces. And then our senior year, a bunch of guys went to every single game. They were our cheerleaders. They wore our jerseys. They hyped up the crowd. Pretty sure they hyped us up on the bench as we were sitting there. They were fantastic. One of the biggest things everyone remembers are the escorts back into town and out of town for all the games. It was truly indescribable. There were signs made from bed sheets, cardboard, OSB, or whatever people had laying around. People lined the streets to welcome us back. Our favorite sign was when we were leaving for the state game. It said, "Remember, the last one out, turn off the lights." We also want to thank the school, all the admin, teachers, Mr. Byron. First, thank you for letting us get out of school so much. Really appreciate that. We had so much fun at all these amazing pep rallies and taking us out for many team dinners. I know the first year you guys were all shocked by how much food we could eat, but yet you still did it again our next year, so thank you for that. The next people are Rita and Roger. It was always such an honor to see them at our games. Because the games being on the radio, family members and members of the community were able to be part of the games no matter where we were. Rita and Roger would always see us in the hallway before the game, gave us encouraging words, and knew exactly how to motivate us. Another big influence for us, we all talked about it, was Grandpa Heater. We love this man. Every time you saw him, he would have a smile on his face and encouraging words to give us. And he somehow found time to make a special bond with every single one of us in different ways. Not only did he help us with our basketball skills, but he reminded us to have fun. And then one of our favorite group memories is after we win the state game our senior year, we're all excited. We get back to the locker room, and there he is. I think for us, that was probably almost bigger than winning state for us at that moment. So the other thing I want to talk about is our team. A lot of us grew up playing basketball together. Most of us were on the same AAU teams. Ashley, who was even much smaller than us back in the day, just as fierce, in case you were wondering. But because of this, our team chemistry was unmatched. By the time we reached high school, I probably could read Brandy's mind, what she was thinking on the court. We knew where each other was. We knew how to pass it to each other. We knew where to rebound and outlet. That was great. Looking back, we were just a bunch of young kids having the time of our lives. Like, when else does this happen? We trusted each other on and off the court, which was a huge thing. If one person wasn't hitting their shots or being double teamed, we went to the next person stepped up, and then if that person started being double teamed, the next person would step up, just throughout the whole team. We all hit the boards, we all went for steals, we all had way too many turnovers, sorry Heater, but we all played out as one. We didn't blame each other when we lost, and no one had a big ego when we won. We did both as a team. The last year home on the way from Indianapolis, we were just loud and celebrating, obviously. I remember I looked over at Amber, and without saying anything, we both knew that it was over. Like, of course, I know we played our last game, you knew that was our last one, but we didn't have time to process it. So in that moment, I looked at Amber, she looked at me, I started crying, because I'm a crier, and then she started crying, and then probably Brandy started crying, and at one point, the whole bus was just sobbing. We just won state for the second year in a row. How great. We were in hysterical. So we get back to the school. Everybody's around for a pep rally, and we get off the bus, and all of our eyes were red. And we were just still crying, just because it was an amazing opportunity that we had to play with each other. Our team, this whole team is very special. We were each other's biggest cheerleaders, and I feel very lucky to have experienced this with this group of people. Not only were we teammates, but we were family, and we will always be. And last, I want to thank Heater and Perry. Now that we're adults, we can see how much time and effort you put in here. As teenagers, we probably gave you a few gray hairs, sorry. But we didn't say thank you nearly enough. Heater, thank you for the guidance and the basketball knowledge that you gave us. Sorry for making you break clipboards during games and your bracelet. Sorry. You sacrificed a lot of time away from your family and never complained. You walked the walk when you told us what you want a team to be. You even joined us in wearing our state apparel. And Perry, you taught us discipline and focus. You never let us get away with anything, ever. You did all these things that you never got credit for. We see this now and we thank you. Not only were you a coach, but you are an athletic trainer. This lady can tape an ankle like no other. And you were also our therapist when we needed it. Heater, that wasn't really your department. You knew when we needed pushed, and you knew that when we needed someone to talk to. So thank you for everything that you did. So, thank you.
Thank you, Betsy and class. Our next speaker tonight, representing the sophomore class, is Amber Feldman. Amber is a 2002 graduate of Triton High School. While at Triton, she participated in volleyball, basketball, track and field, and softball. She was the 2001-2002 Female Athlete of the Year, along with a variety of other awards she could not recall. Amber went on to graduate from Ball State and Drexel University and has been working in college athletics administration. Amber is currently the Deputy Commissioner of the Mid-American Intercollegiate Athletics Association, an NCAA Division II conference office. She is single and lives with her dog Casey in Kansas City, Missouri. Amber, come on up.
As I'm watching the picture scroll past, I wonder if Hall of Famers have the authority now to make some of those pictures disappear. Yeah, I think several votes in favor of that. So the thing that I was asked to speak about for sure was the shot. Thanks to Google and YouTube, I know I don't get very far without that coming up from time to time. I was on a track and field committee once, and I had just picked up another committee member from the airport, and I had just met this person, and about 20 minutes into our drive, I hear from the back seat, "Did you hit a state championship buzzer beater?" I was like, "Yeah." And one thing that I always point out when people bring that up, that if they were impressed by that, then you won't believe what happened in the minute before that occurred. So I always give Missy credit for putting us in that position in the first place. I'll say the best part about watching that final shot is just the crowd reaction. I could watch that part over and over. Is just the couple of seconds after that. So I'll go through and I'll look at Perry and Heater, and then the team, and then the managers, and then everybody in the crowd. So that's the best part of being able to see that again. One of my fond memories, and it's in my bio too, but I actually really loved our practices and how hard we were conditioned. I'll say that one of the big factors that contributed to our style of play was really how hard we practiced, and therefore how well conditioned we were. And I think some of that started with some of our early coaches. We played a lot of years together in AAU and elementary, and Plymouth League too. So I think some of those practices started with Ken Workman, Doug Westifer, Dale Rock, Shelley Feldman. I'm sure I'm missing some coaches in there, but I think they really kind of started us on our way to knowing what hard work could get you. I think these seasons in particular, especially in 2000, all of a sudden we had a very fast freshman in our midst with Ashley. And I think part of our conditioning was working hard enough to make sure that she didn't beat us in line drills. So I don't think anybody really wanted to lose to a freshman, so I think that made us work even harder to make sure we didn't get beat to the line by Ashley. And again, I think this is kind of going with the turnover theme from all of us so far. And I'm kind of with Perry too, having to watch those games in Heater. I actually pulled up the box scores too, and that was the thing that got my attention the most was our turnover numbers. I mean, it really is atrocious. But I think that really displayed how we played. We pushed the ball hard, and sometimes we had to take chances, and sometimes it just didn't work out so well. The last topic I want to talk about is our bus driver, Bill Moriarty. He actually went in the Hall of Fame before us with the class of 2013. He was actually Crystal and I's bus driver when we were kids, so we had a bit more experience with him. But I have to believe, I mean, he got us to all of our contests safe and sound, and we owe a lot of credit to him, and he really played a big part, and I think we were very happy that he got recognized with that, and not only a Hall of Fame, but he got state championship medals, and we were very appreciative that he got that recognition too. I would have to think probably some of his favorite moment would have been taking part in our police escorts, especially in downtown Kansas City or downtown Indianapolis, and being on the interstate. I think that was probably one of the highlights of going to that 2001 game and just roaming down the interstate with the cops. That was awesome. And then the last thing about Bill, when I was thinking about our time with him on the bus, was how he really had to put up with our music selections. Particularly one song, and I think, Brandy, I'll call out you for naming that song. What was it?
I like Big Butts.
Baby Got Back. Right. So we played a lot of music that probably wouldn't have been on Bill's playlist, is what I'm saying. But he put up with it, as did Perry and Heater. Probably wasn't your music of choice either. But he let us be us, and I think we appreciate him for that. So that's all I've got, and I'll turn it back over to Dan.
All right, thank you very much. For our final speaker of the evening, representing the freshman class, is Ashley Senef Faulkner. Ashley Senef Faulkner is a 2003 graduate of Triton High School. While at Triton, she participated in volleyball, basketball, and track. She was the 2002-2003 Female Athlete of the Year. Ashley made several all-conference and all-area teams, along with all-state. She holds the career points record for basketball with 1,682 points. Ashley went on to the University of Evansville, where she played basketball for the Purple Aces. While at UE, she majored in secondary education social studies. Upon graduation from UE, she accepted a position at Culver Community Middle School, where she taught 8th grade social studies for 8 years. She coached the varsity girls team for 3 years while at Culver. In 2015, Ashley accepted the junior high social studies position at Triton. She has coached volleyball and basketball while a part of the Trojan family. She received her master's degree in school counseling from Indiana Wesleyan University. Ashley has been a school counselor at Triton since 2021. She is married to Jared Faulkner, and they have 3 children: Jackson, age 14, Avery, age 12, and Jameson, age 7. They currently reside in Bourbon, Indiana. Ashley, come on up.
Hi. So I was told that I had to talk tonight because I was the baby of the team. So apologize for that one. I, like Betsy, had to write down my stuff because otherwise I would talk too fast and probably too long, so just kind of bear with me. This game has been mentioned a couple different times, and it was the regional game at Knox against Couts, and I was an 8th grader. And that was during the 1998-1999 school year. And during that year, I had gone to several of the JV and the varsity games, and that was the game that probably stood out the most to me because we lost on a heartbreaking last second, you can't even call it a tip-in. It was like this doink in the air that happened to go in, and they gave the bucket to Couts because obviously it was on Couts' end of the court. And the girls were devastated, and us in the cheer block were devastated. I mean, it was awful. I mean, there was no way that should have been how that game ended. But the one thing that really stood out to me with that was having had played with several of those girls on AAU teams and knowing how close they were to winning a regional championship. I knew that the future of Blue Swish basketball was very, very bright. And I looked at my dad on the way home from that game, and I said, Dad, those girls are going to state next year. And I knew that I wanted to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form. So it had always been my dream to play varsity basketball as a freshman. However, I knew that that was a very rare thing. And I knew that that was something that Mr. Heater and Miss Perry, as they reminded me last night, was not something that they did very often. But that dream, coupled with the desire to be a part of what I witnessed at that regional game, drove me to work even harder in the off season and during tryouts to earn a spot on that varsity team. However, I wasn't content to just earn a spot. I wanted to be a player. I actually wanted to have the opportunity to step on the court with those girls and make a difference. And I knew that in order to earn that playing time, that meant that I had to bring effort and intensity every single day. And yes, that meant trying to beat everybody in line drills. Thankfully, the girls on the team welcomed me with open arms and embraced me as one of them. I feel like that really helped with the fact, or due to the fact that I played AAU with a lot of them. But it made it not quite so scary to be the baby of the team. This made the transition to high school basketball a lot easier, and it allowed me to be focused on being the best teammate that I could be. So thank you, ladies, for putting up with my whininess at times, and for putting up with my attitude, because I know that that was not always great. Heater and Perry, thank you for walking me through all of that. I greatly appreciate it. But I just love the fact that what we were able to accomplish together, because together we were a lot stronger than any one single person. So that was what it was like being a freshman. I loved every minute of it. As far as my fond memories, one of the things that I touched on, I talked with Betsy about this, and we had an amazing community support, as Betsy mentioned, okay, and as Missy mentioned. But we had the best little girl cheer block that would sit on the front row of our stands in as many away games as their parents were willing to take them on school nights. And they would just cheer their hearts out. They painted their faces, and they made homemade shirts, and they sat there, and they gave us high fives. And even when we were not maybe playing so well or had way too many turnovers, those little girls were still like, yes, we love you guys. And we're like, we love you too. So it was awesome being able to run out and give them high fives. And we just really, really appreciated their support. And I can only hope that they gained the same desire to play and don a Lady Trojans jersey watching us the way that I did when I watched the varsity girls growing up. Okay, and then my last memory was the first year that we went down to state. We were at this wonderful banquet put on by the Optimist Club. And at this banquet had all of the teams that were there. Okay, And there was, I don't even remember all the teams, but one school was missing. And that happened to be our school. Because Triton Central was up there. And then I think in the brochure, like we were called the Tipton Trojans too. So we were misnamed a couple of different times. And while we were not necessarily bitter, I think that we did let that drive us a little bit. And we really wanted to make sure that they knew the name Triton Junior Senior High School by the time that they left Indianapolis, or we left Indianapolis. And so remember us, they did, because we etched our names into the record books, not only as the 99-2000 Class 1A state champions, but also the 2000-2001 Class 1A state champions. Thank you.
I know you just got done clapping, but let's give another round of applause for all the speakers tonight. Now it is time to present the teams with their awards. So, Athletic Director Eunice, if you'd come up on the stage. We are going to introduce every member of the team. Unfortunately, not all were able to be with us tonight, but all will be enshrined in the Triton Athletic Hall of Fame. So as we call your name, please come up, grab your award, and then please remain on stage so that we can close the evening. First up, Melissa Nifong. Tommy Kreider. Janelle Salisbury. Betsy Sawyer. Rachel Spiker. Jennifer Bates.
Can't run anymore.
Crystal Feldman. Brandy Ganshorn. Shelley Miller. Tracy Bell. Amber Feldman. Ashley Seneth. Gina Westifer. Christy Seacrest. Jen Adams. Amy Sponseller. Amber Ellinger. Cherish Gabhart. Sarah Schaefer. Coach Gail Perry. And Coach Mark Heater. Let's give one more big round of applause to these teams. For the team on stage and the community in attendance, both in person and online this evening, we hope that this evening can serve as a powerful reminder and perhaps even a small taste of the magic we all felt being swept along by these state title runs. These are memories that will undoubtedly last a lifetime for the teams, for our school, and also for our community. These inductees have created lasting examples for Triton athletes past and future of teamwork, dedication, and that being rewarded with success. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, and one final time, let's congratulate the Triton High School Girls State Championship teams of 2000 and 2001. On behalf of the school and community, I would like to thank Rodney Eunice for continuing the Hall of Fame tradition and organizing the event here this evening. Without your hard work and the work of those who have assisted, this event would not be possible. In closing, I want to share a quote that former athletic director Mason McIntyre often shared at this event many times before. This quote has such meaning that I think it's appropriate to continue that tradition of sharing it each time we gather for the Hall of Fame celebration. Cal Stoller, former football coach of the University of Minnesota, often said, "Success is uncommon. Therefore, it is not to be enjoyed by common people." As we think about these words, we realize they couldn't be more true. Success is truly uncommon, and the team that we have inducted tonight knows this meaning. Thank you for being an uncommon team and sharing with your community in your success. Although we are saddened to see this evening come to a close, we are excited about what the future holds for our inductees, for our athletic department, and for the Triton community. It is our hope that you will all join us in the future as we continue to recognize the uncommon and the next class of the Triton Athletic Hall of Fame. I will ask the team to please remain on the stage. There's going to be a photo op after this, whether you like it or not, so you're stuck up here. Appreciate if we can do that. And I also wanted to make a mention to this group, a small plug here for the Triton Student Life Foundation, which is hosting their first annual gala coming up on April 6th. It will be at the Wooded Knot. It will be a silent and live auction, and this foundation has been set up to support events, field trips, the academic banquet, and other things that go on in the Triton Student Life Foundation. There is a signed basketball out in front, which will be auctioned off at that event. So if you want to come and see what other exciting things might be available, or if you're interested in being a donor or a sponsor, please reach out to the school and we can get you connected for the Triton Student Life Foundation. This officially concludes tonight's activities. We welcome each of you to stay and enjoy a time of fellowship with the guests of honor. Please enjoy this evening, any food that's remaining, and travel home safely. On behalf of the Triton School Corporation, the selection committee, and the inductees themselves, thank you. Have a good evening.